I'm Hainbach and it's good to have you back. After 1.5 years of development, it's finally here. My latest collaboration with Bram Bos. We previously made Gauss Field Looper. This time we went bigger. Fluss is a granular synthesizer and effects processor for iOS devices with a Kinetic interface. That means you are the modulation. You can gently nudge sounds around in pitch, time and space and their timbre. Or flipping them quickly. This creates constantly changing, meandering, chaotic, yet always interesting modulations. Since Fluss is a granular synthesizer, it doesn't have an oscillator. Instead, it works with samples. You can load up anything from your iCloud, for example, and then you can play it directly. Fluss is designed to take simple sounds and create something beautiful from them. It is the most fun to mess up your own samples, but to get you started, I've included a huge library of presets and sounds from my collection of instruments. It's long. Fluss is not only a synthesizer, it's an effect processor, meaning you can use it with live incoming signals. Therefore, you need a plugin host. I'm using AUM, which is a wonderful modular mixer. If you load up Fluss, then you'll see two different versions. One is a recorder, which allows you to record your own sounds, and the second one is the processor. The amazing Emily Hopkins played with me on this track, and I processed her with Fluss. I've set up my iPad here on this microphone mount, which is a lot of fun because it's connected to my mixer and I can process anything that runs through the mixer through Fluss. You don't need a huge iPad to play it, it works wonderfully also on an iPhone, thanks to this clever switching between the upper and lower part that Bram implemented. If ever you feel bored or uninspired by what you're hearing, you can just give your device a good shake. And everything will be randomized. We made Fluss with live performance in mind. I tested it on tour for the past months and it's been a wonderful experience. I could replace my heavy fader board with this. Following the tradition laid down by synthesizer design legend Don Buchler, there is no keyboard here. Instead, there are many other ways that you can play this instrument. So let's have a closer look. I've already loaded up a sample from the Teenage Engineering Choir, and you can see that represented here. If I want to hear that sample, I have to open up the volume of one of the grains. Grains are these little cuts, little samples of sound. I've opened up the red one. Now I can move the pitch around. Or I can go up an octave or down an octave. And I can set the scale for this right here. Got a whole bunch of regular scales, but you can also import Scala, which is a wonderful format for trying out different scales. Not all might play well with the interface, but try your favorite scale and see what it's like. So now let's set this to pentatonic minor. You can also go unquantized, of course. And then you've got not only one grain head, you've got 3 grains. Each of them corresponds to a color. So red, lila or purple, it's an English word, and green. Now you can play them all 3 at a time. Play a chord, move those around, play another chord, and so on. Or you can go unquantized and do a little cluster. Yeah, come on. So now they're clustered together. It's very nice for more ethereal stuff. Let's go back to pentatonic minor. Set up a nice chord. And now you can transpose that chord in the scale mode. This makes it very easy to create playable chords. And of course you can change the scale. It is a playable quantizer, and that's inspired by the fader board by Vestax and my way to play the modular. Another way to play Fluss is play the sample. For that, I'll just take this and now just touch here and see what's in the sample. Lovely. It's a very exploratory way. And now we can change how the grain behaves. So we can make the grain long or very small. And then we can have many small ones or very few, just one. And then we can make it a little bit bigger. And now we can decide if the grain should be read softly or sharply. This is sharp. And now make it softer. This is the window function of how the grain is sampled. If we put friction down here, we can modulate all of these forever. It's also possible to set the amount of this modulation. If you touch here, you can set a range. So now it will only modulate in this amount, for example. Also here. And this one should only do like this. And we can add the other heads. At their own pitches. But now we can make them run. Therefore, you set the speed and play direction up top here. I'm gonna keep the purple one right where it is, and let the others move using the XY pad here. It's just wonderful. The XY pad also controls the filter, which you can set here. So now it's 100% filter. I'm gonna set the cutoff a bit lower, add some resonance, and now this is my favorite filter. It's based on the Oberheim expander behind me. Two kinds of low passes, a one pass filter, and a high pass. Now, it wouldn't be a granular if you couldn't control things in space, so there's a pan mode. To the right, we've got the output volume and a shimmer section, which is there to make things more beautiful or more extreme, because the shimmer section has a feedback that runs all the way through the whole engine. Open up shimmer. And now, because it runs again through the whole engine, the feedback, it is now being filtered. We open up the filter. You can now hear the shimmer up top. Ambience. And with shimmer, it's nice to pitch everything down completely and then use the shimmer to go up again. So let's play this, pitch it all the way down with the master pitch, and then up the feedback. If you like a preset that you've made, you can save it or share it with a friend through this button. Fluss is a dream come true for me, ever since I read about the life and works of Greek composer Yannis Xenakis. He is one of the most badass origin stories of all modern composers. He was hit in the face by shrapnel from a Sherman tank round. He has been quoted as always trying to recreate that sound when the metal hit his face. The ideas behind the kinetic movement and the friction are directly inspired by him. When Bram and me first talked about this, I might have scared him a little, because I was talking about smashing things into each other, explosions. He didn't get back to me for half a year. And then he suddenly came up with the first concept for Fluss, and many of the ideas that we talked about and his own ideas are in here. I'm very curious to what you are gonna do with Fluss, because I know that I've got a certain way that I play it and I'm still discovering new ways, but as soon as an instrument that I had a hand in designing comes to you, it becomes something very different. Tag me on the socials. I'm super curious to hear what you come up with. Fluss has been extensively tested and I trust it so much that I use it as the core of my live shows. But if you have a technical issue, open a ticket with Bram Bos. Don't use the comments or the iTunes Store review system for that. Fluss is available in the Apple App Store and there's no other versions for other platforms planned. A huge thank you goes out to Bram Bos for collaborating again with me on this, and all the beta testers, as well as the detectives in the Audiobus forum who've been finding out everything about this app almost before it was released. The track I made with Emily, who you should absolutely subscribe to if you haven't already, is available on my Patreon. If you have any more questions, do put them in the comments below or visit the subreddit. Thank you all for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye.